All right, welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon reviews. Right, so 3 videos, 2 reviews, 1 impressions. The long and short of things is Galix is taken ill. Yeah, it looks like his fears came true. He is here, but his throat is not doing so hot. So
My voice is ass, and if I talk too much, I'm afraid I'll start coughing.
So he's not reviewing anything this week. Hopefully his voice will be recovered by, Wednesday, maybe Friday. We'll see. But in the meantime, first we have our impressions video for the week, and that is Gedonia 2. Gedonia 2 is an online co-op RPG, which allows up to 4 players to freely explore a living open world and build absolutely unique characters. An expanded and improved sequel for the RPG Gedonia. You don't need to put that last part, because that's generally what a sequel is. But putting that aside, so we do have a bit of history with this. I suppose it is proper to say it's a franchise now. 2 games do count as a franchise. But like a good 5 years ago, we talked to the creator of Gedonia when the first game was in development. I will admit I don't remember a thing about that interview because, once again, it was 5 years ago. I'm like, this has come up recently. But it's just like, we interview a lot of people, so old knowledge is forgotten. But the interview is still on the YouTube if you want to see how the first game was shaping up. And I'm guessing the first game was at the very least successful enough to garner a sequel. I will note that the impressions that we are delivering here are for single player only. We were only gifted the 1 code. The copy that Petty's displaying, I had to supply on my own. And there really wasn't an opportunity to do a multiplayer mayhem of, an expansive RPG.
Right.
Because this game is, a proper old school CRPG, like the kind of thing I would have been playing, like 2002. For the most part, although it wouldn't have looked like this. That is to say, this game is a lot more stylized than the actual RPGs of the early 2000s. They were still striving for that realism, photorealism journey. As opposed to this, which it looks like something that would have been developed for the consoles. Like it's the console spin-off of a RPG franchise from about that era. That's not a bad thing. It's just an observation. And in fairness, all that we're delivering here is observations. Because I played for about 2 or 3 hours. Once again, with early access titles, these are impressions, not full reviews. And games like Gedonia 2 here is exactly the reason why we do impressions and not reviews. Because if I were reviewing this on an objective basis, I would have to give a very cautious recommendation at most. Because there's no getting around the fact that this game is pretty janky. very obviously janky, which isn't a surprise considering, like, I don't know how big the if the development team has expanded in 5 years or anything, but we'll say a small team of people is developing a whole ass old school RPG. Like, even the big boys can't avoid massive bugs in their big ass CRPGs. But like in my time, I'm talking like I had a AI companion who would just like you've seen like Fallout videos and Bethesda RPGs where you just see somebody skate along. They're not moving. They're moving, but there's no animation there. That happened often. Both in terms of my companion and the enemy.
Well, and there's definitely a lack of polish in some of the animations, like how I'm holding this bow.
Yeah.
And like specifically for this, it's a kind of messing up my shot because it's not lining up with reticle.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about here. This game is just unpolished as fuck. Like, that does need to be put up in front. And another thing that kept happening was enemies and my companion would just float. Instead of like jumping, they would just like literally float up. Like there were wolves that floated up to where I was. It's like a thing that very obviously should not be happened with regularity. So, just on that basis alone, I can't really say I would recommend this game at this stage. On the other hand, given the ambitions on display here, it is shocking how playable it actually is. I engaged in a few quests, and they worked. There wasn't any broken links. There wasn't any vanishing NPCs. There wasn't any sort of fuckery of that sort, which is actually really good. Because once again, there are finished RPGs that didn't quite master that skill set.
Mm-hmm.
So
looking at you, Bethesda.
Yep. And also the production values are shockingly there right now. I'm talking voice acting, full voice acting. I'm talking cutscenes. There was one quest I did with a undead couple, which went down a dark path. But at the end, I completed it. There was a whole ass cutscene acted and everything. Like I said, that is an impressive level of polish for something this early. So it's kind of a game of paradoxes. On the one hand, the bones are there. This absolutely plays like a CRPG from 20-25 years ago. How much that appeals to you may be up to the individual. How much you enjoyed Piranha Bytes games or something like that. But, and if you know what one of those plays like, it plays like one of those. I suppose the most distinctive feature there is its experience system. in that you get 4 areas of expertise, and where you put the points in is your focus. Like, that's how you become a magician versus a fighter or a ranger, that kind of thing. Like, this game is definitely big on the class specialization. You know, it's not one of these RPGs where you can get away with being a spell warrior. You know, just gonna throw that out there. But, you know, you gather items, you do quests, you get experience points, the whole 9 yards. You know, oddly enough, like, as an actual game, I really don't have too much to say about it. Like, it's, you know, it's on track to do what it seeks to do, if that makes any sense. It's just, at time of recording, this game entered early access, like, okay, the release date here is a bit weird, in that the early access date is listed as the same as the release date.
That I'm thinking they're meaning that's when it releases into early access.
But it's already out in early access.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, there's some date confusion here. And if this game is seeking a 1.0 release date now, no. You are not ready for prime time.
Unless they're... let me see if there's any way I can see how old this build is. Because that would depend a lot going forward. If this is like a 5-month-old build compared to if this is a like couple-week-old build, you know?
Yeah, it's just I saw such obvious bugs that would be that you can get away with by saying it's a very early access title.
All right.
Not something you can get away with in terms of 1.0.
This is saying this is alpha 0.4.11c. Do we have an update note? Last update. The last update was March 1st. Yikes. Yeah, no. If this is like a week old build, big yikes.
Exactly. And looking at the notes here, approximately how long will this game be in early access? They're angling for 24 to 30 months, which makes sense if this game came out in early access like now. Like, I absolutely believe that this is a game that's going to spend 2 years in early access. Like, because once again, I understand it's being developed by a small team and all that, but I can't excuse the amount of very obvious bugs and the sheer lack of polish on display here. Like, it's got solid fundamentals, but like, this isn't even like polishing to a mere sheen. This is polishing to see anything.
Yeah. Like, the stuff like the archery shouldn't be that broken if you want, because there are definitely people who'd want to build around archery.
Yeah.
So having a mechanic like that is broken is a problem. Like, yeah, if your weapon movements are a little wonky, that's fine. But if you're having trouble aiming because of how mechanics work, that's a problem.
And I understand that there are those who find, you know, Eurojank, Slavjank, etc., charming. I'm like, like I don't
Mm.
like. Um, I just really don't like. Maybe that's a preference thing, but it's just like you can say that that having um most of the NPCs floating when they're trying to jump or
Well,
whatever is
and I think part
giving
of
it
that is like for the choice we have here, for the amount of price we could pay for what we considered Eurojank, we could just get a better used game.
right. Or I could like I could name something, like go get one of the Gothic
Yeah.
games. Because those are janky as fuck, but those have actual charm to them.
Mm-hmm.
My other big problem with this game is, unfortunately, outside of the stylized graphics, there's not a lot of personality here.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's
Like,
supposed to be coming in updates, like writing updates or
right?
whatever. That's one of
Yeah,
the things we'll
like
never know with early access.
yeah. Once again, like all indicators seem to be that this is very early access. Like, it's going to be a few years before this game gets out.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, not a surprise given like ambitious CRPG, small development team. I get it. But there's only so much leeway we can give to that
Right.
as well. Um, and once again, can't even go into like the finer points, like the UI. The UI is I go ranging from fairly standard to a bit wonky, like selecting level ups is
Mm-hmm.
confusing. But once again, I don't know. Like, I don't know how final any of these things are. This is why we don't review. But my impressions are, it's this game's got some good bones, but yeah,
And like
the
I'm
actual
noticing
meat.
there's not really much of a tutorial. You're just kind of foisted upon the world right now. Like I imagine tutorial will come.
Okay. I don't know what you did, but I got tutorial messages up the ass.
I
Like,
started in the arena.
I got big floating yellow question marks, which told me do this, this, and this.
Huh.
Now this is starting town, but I definitely got tutorial markers. Um,
Weird.
detailing like, but like I said, everything here is just it's a work in progress. And I think it's a bit too much of a work in progress to properly recommend right now.
Right.
Um,
Have they mentioned if the price is going up as early access progresses?
let's see. They usually do. Yeah. Yes, they will. We plan to slightly increase full price of the game after early access.
Mm.
I'm assuming slightly increase means like $5-10.
Again, don't quote us on this. We have not talked to developers on this.
Yeah, the last time we talked to Kazakov here was 5 years ago about the first game. So we don't maybe I'll send them an email about talking about Gedonia 2. But as it stands right now, the current price is $15. Although its sale price seems to be $10.
$10 is a fine price.
Yeah. But that's expiring tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's just
I'd definitely say probably wishlist it right now. Like if this sounds interesting, at least give it a wish list.
Yeah, it's it's definitely got potential, and it's probably got a fan base, given it's the second game.
Mm,
But I'm assuming that those people would have already purchased that.
right.
This is talking towards new people. I would say check up on this game in 6 months.
Right.
See where things lie there, because it's just too unpolished. Even for an early access game, for me to confidently recommend.
Right. Like, it's definitely not
And
the worst, but it does need a little bit more time in the oven even before, like, it's worth looking at even an early access look.
yeah. All right. So yeah, I think that'll about do it for this game here. With that in mind, be sure to tune in after the break as Petty Fan reviews Poker Night at the Inventory.